Hello team players. Today is a new teamwork build, the Necro Singer. Let's dive in. So as its name suggests, we're going Bard for this build. This build is very action heavy, and a class like Bard works very well with it, because most, if not all, of our composition spells only take one action. But we'll still be taking the Maestro Muse so that we can make our composition spells last longer. We don't have to put them up every turn, as sometimes we're going to need to move, sometimes we want to intimidate a foe, something else with our action that our composition spells last longer is a big deal, a massive deal. Granted, sometimes we're going to want to cast Bard spells too. Those are going to take 2 actions, but we don't need to have our Horde attack every round. Our Horde is mostly there to give our Blowgun Master somewhere to hide, but we'll get to that later in this video. For our Ancestry, we're going with the Unbreakable Goblin. So we have more Ancestry hit points, and we take half as much fall damage. Plus, Goblin gives us access to the feats that are really going to help this build. For our stats, obviously, Charisma is going to be our most important. That's what 90% of our Bard stuff is going to go off of. Secondly, we need Dexterity. We're not going to be wearing a huge amount of armor in this build, so that defense is going to help a lot. And finally, Wisdom for that perception and will saves. Other than that, you really don't need anything else. Skills, Intimidation, Medicine, and Performance are going to be your most important, especially that Performance, as Performance will let us use our composition spells to their fullest potential. For our Ancestry feat, level 1, we're going with Goblin Song, so we can annoy enemies and lower their perception and will saves. That perception is going to be huge for our Blowgun Master, as he wants to be stealthy. And lowering their perception means he can do his job quite a bit more effectively. And will save is for our spells, plain and simple, as about 90% of our spells are going to require will saves. We will want to sustain our Horde every round, but we don't need to attack with it every round. Sometimes it's going to be more beneficial to cast a spell, a 2-action spell, instead of having our Horde attack. For level 2, I'm going to be taking Uplifting Overture, allowing us to use Performance to aid people with a better chance to succeed. And we even automatically critically succeed if we're legendary in Performance, which we definitely want to be by level 20. Aid is one of those reactions that isn't used anywhere near enough and needs to be used more, and this just makes us better at it. At level 3, we're going to be taking Canny Acumen because we need better Fortitude saves, and we're not going to get better Fortitude saves for a while. So this just makes us expert in will and Fortitude saves, and that's a pretty massive deal. At level 4, we're going to be taking Rallying Anthem, so all of our allies get better defenses and resistance. This includes our Horde. Granted, our Horde already has resistance, so that won't stack, but it will give them better defenses. At level 5, we'll be taking Loud Singer, so our Goblin Song can affect more enemies. At level 6, we'll finally get our Horde with the Necrologist dedication, so we can now command our Horde and sustain it and all that, in addition to casting spells, which will become a massive deal later. At level 7, it's Toughness for more hit points and harder for us to die. Always take Toughness. Toughness is by far one of the best general feats you can take. Definitely always want to take Toughness. At level 8, we'll be taking Grasping Corpses. So when we use Mobbing Assaults, we can make foes off guard. This is going to make it easier for everyone to hit enemies, including our Blowgun Master Alchemist, which of course is the last build I cover on this channel. Very effective feat here. At level 9, we'll be taking Goblin Scuttle. Sometimes we're going to need to get out of sticky situations, and this will allow us to do that and give us more mobility. For those situations where our Horde is not up, and we need to get it up, because we're not always going to go first. Next, we're going to be taking the most important feat in this entire build, Death Guard, allowing us and anyone else to use our horde as concealment, which means we can hide. So that's not only important for us, but it's also important for our blowgun master because, or any other build that wants to be stealthy. Our position definitely is not obvious, so we can definitely use the concealment to hide. At level 11, we'll be taking Die Hard. So we die dying 5 rather than dying 4. Again, this is another general feat you pretty much always want to take. Pretty massive, huge deal. At level 12, we'll be taking Ghost Song. Making our horde made up of spirits is a big, massive deal, as it makes it that much harder for enemies to do anything to the horde. In addition, this feat's name just fits so well with this build. I mean, come on. Ghost Song, and we're building a Necro Singer, fits so well. At level 13, it's Unbreakable Goblin. So we get even more hit points from our Ancestry, and we can no longer take fall damage, period. But of course, the big thing here is more Ancestry hit points, as our horde isn't always going to be up. We're not always going to go first and be able to immediately get our horde up. So more hit points, definitely important. At level 14, we'll be taking Wailing Dead. So now, if our horde is made up of spirits, they can sing and frighten enemies. This is why we don't need Dirge of Doom. Our spirits are eventually going to be able to frighten enemies for us. Granted, Dirge of Doom is a good spell, but we don't need it for this build. And of course, like normal, at level 15, we're going to take Fleet to give us a little more speed, because again, our horde isn't always going to be up, so having more speed, kind of important. And that's the Necro Singer done. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment, or just tear my build apart. You can also subscribe to the channel if you like builds like this. If you want to talk about this or any other of my builds, my Discord is where you want to be. And of course, if you want a path builder for this build, you can absolutely check out my Patreon page. Link is in the description. And of course, if you like my content, here's another video you can check out. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.